having it.
Oh, sure, the IT guy starts us off.
So we're gonna call this order, it looks like 6:37 PM on Thursday night. Looks like we're gonna have a great full agenda here tonight. We're gonna start this with making sure that we'll begin with by acknowledging that we gathered here today for our ancestral homelands of the coastal Salish peoples. And that word, we gotta get that fixed one of these times. It's supposed to be coastal instead of coast. The Sudden Valley Community Association stands against racism in all forms. And our roll call tonight, Rick, welcome. Rick, can you hear us? Good? Okay.
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Welcome,
Okay.
Rick.
Rick is our awesome
Good.
chairperson and the amazingest person that I've ever seen on notes. I'm telling you, we'll review that in seconds. April is here, good to see you. Chad is here. Elizabeth, really good to have you back.
She's here.
Yeah,
Yes,
it looks like Mitch is here.
because I don't have anything else more exciting in my life.
Yeah, Ken's here. And
Sure.
Gary was gonna possibly join us online. Have you seen anything, Spencer, from Gary?
Yeah, Gary was going to try.
To get online?
Looks like he might have just signed in. Yeah, I think he signed in.
Okay,
Hey,
perfect.
we have a full
We got a
group.
full deck. That's good.
Welcome, Gary.
Mr. Bara, welcome.
All right, welcome back.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
All right.
Gary, good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
Right on.
Ah.
Excellent.
Good to see y'all.
Yeah. Do you all have an agenda in front of you, or you got one by email, Gary and Rick? We need to adopt the agenda.
Yes.
I would like to propose an amendment to the agenda. If not tonight, because it's a very full one, but in future agendas, have a line in there for committee discussion.
Committee discussion.
Long-range planning, the committee members,
Yeah.
general discussion. You know, topical things, what's going on, just discussion.
Oh,
You
like
give
a
us-
little socialization.
Yeah, so, or just conversation, you know, people crosstalk, what'd you do, how'd this work out? Just
No, that's
Just
good.
second
a
that motion.
recommendation that we should have a bullet in there for, all right, has anyone got a topic they wanna talk about?
Good idea.
I like it.
I like it, yeah. We don't got one
I take
tonight.
care of you, Ms. Jean.
Just so long
So-
as, I get to participate like I was asked to do. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Good job, Mitch. Well done.
We'll do
It's
that-
the
we'll do
candy.
that next time. Okay. How we about adopting this agenda? With the
I
new
move
addendum,
with
Yeah.
the
addendum,
future amendment,
future amendment. Okay.
I move that we adopt.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Alright.
Hi.
Hey, okay, Gary, that's good. Okay, in front of you also, we had the minutes that Rick did so amazing on May 1st. Could you guys review those, please?
So I didn't, I don't have the name of our guest, or is she now on our committee? I'm not sure.
Presently, she's not, does not want to.
Oh, I just need to add her name to the attendee list.
Observing tonight.
Janine Harbor is her name.
Janine Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Welcome, Janine.
And Timey is in the.
Thank you.
Side, Timey's here also. Vanderpool.
We have a spy.
Okay. Oh, boy. Okay.
I do see that the
But-
coastal Salish.
The price of admission was to bring treats, though, right? No.
She did, she brought them, she did, yeah.
You get to look at it.
They're right down there underneath you.
Yeah.
Just pick up one.
I get the low calorie view, yeah. Okay.
I do see the
Me too.
misspelling
Yeah,
on the coastal Salish, that it's coat Salish again. You probably just need to get that.
okay.
Any other things you guys see that we should bring to attention?
I'd like to finish the notes. I'm good with it. Nice job, Rick.
Oh, thank you, sir.
All those in favor of adopting the minutes? Those opposed? Do we have any announcements?
Time you brought cupcakes.
That's good. Okay.
Do you want one? I'm gonna get one. Do you want one?
I'm good, thank you. I gotta eat dinner still.
Okay, as we did the last meeting in May, we came up with some things that we had brought up in previous meetings about stuff that possibly the community could bring in revenue for our community. And we came up with 6 or 7, and we zoomed in on 4 last month, and you guys chose what you wanted to work on, and you guys got on that committee, and tonight we're gonna get a report from all 4 of those that we have looked at so far. You know, long-range committee, that the whole idea is to look at stuff that could be a possibility to bring in revenue or good for the community. It might not happen this year, next year, it could be 3, 5, 10 years, but we've got to get some information and explore them so that it could be a possibility in 3 years or 5 years down the road. So there's nothing wrong with gathering information and putting it together. And then after each one of these tonight, as we go, I think we want to open it up for
Feedback?
the committee, feedback on each one. And it might improve what you were trying to find. It might have opened your eyes to look somewhere else so we get some more information, and that's okay. This was not a report that had to be done and publicized and dead, all facts, ready to go. Let's initiate it, let's go talk to the board. It's not that way. We're trying to gather information. And if we got something good enough and everybody's all in unison that, hey, this sounds like a really good idea, we should put this into action, then we could prepare a presentation to bring to the board so that they would get all the facts the right way. So that's what this exercise is for. And we have Chad and Ken were given the assignment of seeing if there's an opportunity to create revenue on parking from non-residents. How did you guys make out?
We
Please share
did,
with us.
we did some homework. You wanna start with us?
Yeah, you're first, you're on the agenda.
Okay.
You're number 1.
Actually, it's number 7.
Okay,
That's not fully numbered.
We might ask questions after, you guys do your part, and we'll ask questions.
I've always been told I'm number 1, but, it's nice to have it reconfirmed.
work for the sewer district, you could be number 1 in the number 2 department.
I like it. Oh, that's okay. So Chad and I are gonna split up our presentation a little bit. I'm gonna talk a little bit about what the current situation is and what the potential is for parking. And then Chad's gonna talk a little bit about how we could perhaps get some income, the costs of that, and some things, and all the regulations and some things in that area, right? So, you wanna head this out? So I did a little bit of a survey and drove around, Sudden Valley. And, the first thing I did is I went down to AM/PM Beach, and here's, we can hand this out too. First thing I did is I went down to AM/PM Beach, which is really a really small area, right? I mean, AM/PM Beach doesn't really hold a lot of people. So, some of these numbers, you know, we have to confirm, but I just did a rough count. And to me, it looks like there's approximately 20, I had 20 parking spots at AM/PM Beach. And, if we did a slight bit of work in this picture here, there's a picture that shows a bunch of rocks here, right in front of all the parking. So if we did a little bit of work, not a lot, a little bit of gravel, a little bit of backfill, we could probably increase it another 10 spots. So we're just looking at the current situation, how can we improve it, and what is the potential? But if you increase 20 spots to 30, that's a 50% increase. So it's significant, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean people can't get there by their bikes or walking or all the different ways that they get there, right? But if you're gonna take your car down, right now, there's about 20 spots, and we could probably at a minimal cost, increase that to 30. So that's at the AM/PM Beach. I don't know if there's any questions on that or not. I think everybody kind of has been there and agrees with that. So then I looked at the rotunda, and I didn't look at the parking like for the mailbox area, right? I mean, people go in and out of there all the time, and that area has to be utilized for accessing your mail. So I looked at the area on the side of the hill there, for
That's
parking.
not chained off.
Right, the area that's not chained off, there's approximately 25 spots, plus or minus, in that area that, you know, today is used for, you know, maybe people commuting or
It's actually designated carpool parking.
carpool parking, right? So they're using it for commuting. And there's a couple cars in there every day, but there's a potential of 25 spots. And there's also a chained area for some reason unknown to me. There's a chained area just to the south of it, and that has approximately 10 to 12 additional spots that we could use. And we could use that spots for busy weekends, we could use that spot for non-residents. That's an area for parking that's very close to the marina that has a potential to be utilized that's not today, really. And I don't know why that other area was chained off. Does anybody know the reason?
I think in the past, that was used for the school bus to do a turnaround or a drop off if there was bad weather and that sort of thing. So it was always you weren't supposed to park down there unless you were, you know, getting a kid.
I think I can update that a little bit better, a little more.
Yeah.
I'm the one who did it.
Oh,
You chained it off?
I'm the culprit. All right, so you're right about the school bus.
Mm-hmm.
The school bus, there was a remaining shack, I think, could still be
Right,
there.
yeah.
The school bus used to pull in, the school district notified us they would no longer pull in, it wasn't safe anymore. So
Pretty
they
steep.
wanted to, so that's when we put the second, shelter over by gate 1. All right, that's when we put the second one. We had installed the first one across the street at 3, and we put the second one up at gate 1, and then changed the parking, saying, okay, we designated a certain amount of spaces. This is for commuters, if you want to use the bus, and these are for moms and dads to pick up kids.
Right.
All right, and if you wanted to do carpooling, park at the other lot. There were problems with people pulling in and pulling out. That was becoming a safety issue, and the neighbors along the street, the Latrells and several others, complained that it was no longer safe with people trying to do U-turns through there. So we decided, okay, and the pavement was terrible, so we weren't gonna fix the pavement. We chained it off and just used one side, that's why.
There you go. So, at the end of the day, there's still a potential there just for parking for about another
We
10
can pave
spots.
and
Or
do some
clean it up.
signage and do some work, it can be done.
Right, so, 10 spots over 25, you know, if we wanna look at that, if that's something for weekend usage only or whatever, that's just a potential that we can talk about. Then, we went down to the Marina Dog Park area, and it's, you know, the marina and the dog park kind of blend in together a little bit. But if you look at the area that's totally facing the dog park, there's about 20 spots there. There's 2 handicap spots, and there's about 17 to 8, so there's about 20 that face the dog park that are, you know, I guess those, you could essentially call those dog park ones. And then, if you look at the marina, there is about 13 spots for just an individual car or truck. And then in the inner circle, there's about 15 spots that you can park a truck or a car plus a trailer, all in the inner circle, right? All around there, they're all well identified, and it's on the grass side, the inner side. So, so that, as far as the marina goes, that's about 28. So total parking in the marina, including the dog park, is about 50 vehicles for 3,100 residences. Now, inside the marina, right, if you look inside the marina, there is a kind of a circular peninsula, I guess, if here's the marina. And then there's this area here where they have about 25 spots for boats, right, around the circumference. And that could be utilized for additional truck and trailer parking. You could get approximately 12 to 13, you could almost double it if you, where people could just pull in and then back out if you want to utilize that. And so there's a potential for another 12 to 15 spots if you just line them up along here for truck and trailer. And the boats, we just did a quick count. So there's 25 spots in there. There's probably about 15 to 18 boats and or trailers in there right now. And we did a quick count of the empty spots in the dry slip, you know, the other area, the other dry slip area, there's about 50 empty spots.
Are they rented?
So we have to do that, right? So I just did a quick, how many empty spots? I did a quick count. There's no trailer there, there's nothing there, there's 50 spots. So, you know, are they rented and no one's using it? We have to get that number, right? So I don't know what that number is, and we
I
can
think
get that.
they're about all rented except for a few.
Right.
Dry space, I'm pretty
So there's
sure.
50 spots not being utilized today. And then there's another 15 spots in what they call the overflow section that's not being utilized. So there is the potential to move some of these boats, I guess is my point. And either organize the dry slip area well or better, or utilize the overflow area.
So you're talking a lot about how you could realign different areas and create parking, but I haven't heard anything about revenue.
Right, so first the first thing that we want to do is kind of recognize how much we can increase the potential for parking. The second issue is, what is the problem, right? So when you look at what is the problem, the first thing that comes to our mind is, well, possibly people that are not residences are coming in, although we don't have any hard numbers on that. No one has ever said, you know, like, whenever it's a busy weekend, is it really just the residences and we don't have enough parking?
Right.
Or is the issue non-residents coming in? No one's ever been able to say, look, we have X number of non-residents coming in each weekend. No one's been able to identify a hard number on that. So one of the things we want to do is, when Chad and I talked about this, is we want to say, okay, here's a potential for increasing it. This is where we can increase it in each area. And then secondly, we think what we should do this summer is do a study and see, okay, are they is the issue residences, we just don't have enough parking? Or is the issue, we have non-residents coming in, taking over our area? So the suggestion would be that this summer on weekends where it's busy, to survey. So what we want to do is identify, like have people identify themselves as a resident, okay? For no charge, go in and get a sticker. You're a Sudden Valley resident, you can park there, and then do a survey and say, okay, where is the problem? Is it just we don't have enough parking? Or is the problem we're being influxed by non-residents? We don't really know. We can sit here and we kind of love to say it's non-residents coming in, but we don't really know that.
So the sticker would go on the person's window,
So the sticker could go on the car,
okay,
on their windshield, it could be no charge, and they put it in, and that would help us identify what the problem is. And that's kind of what we would suggest would be the first step, so then we really know what the problem is.
All right, so you guys gonna write up a proposal that's gonna go to the board to have
Right.
them do it?
Right. So we're gonna write up a proposal that includes what the potential is, and we're gonna write up a proposal that we want to identify the issue between, is it really, we don't have enough parking, or do we have non-residents coming in, and then we need to generate revenue to persuade them not to park here?
Got it.
What about?
So,
Pardon me?
this is Gary, and they did a similar thing in Mokotio, where they actually created a sticker, and if you had the sticker on your vehicle, you could go to the marina or another park that was along the waterfront, and you didn't have to pay for parking. If you didn't have the sticker, then you would have to pay. So I think they've done this successfully for many years, and so I think the sticker is a good suggestion.
yeah, just to get to the root, to find out, is there a problem?
Right.
Or is
Right.
we've got 7,000 people living here, and they're all going to the beach,
Right.
it's just our people.
Should we increase our parking spaces because we need more room,
For our
or is
own
that room
community.
getting, used
Is
by
it a
non-residents?
perception?
Right, so
And
we
it's
need
not
hard
a-
data on that.
Yeah, I like that approach. Get some hard
Ken did
facts.
a great reconnaissance work, he
Don't
compliment him, his
he
head
did,
explodes.
he did.
Is, I'm trying to remember, is there a thing that anybody who has a boat in a slip is also entitled to a parking spot? I
If
think
they have
that's
a boat and a
used to-
trailer, there's spots
Yeah,
for those.
but if
There's-
they've got
there's- We know how many now. We
So
need
I
probably more.
think, Tommy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if we pay for a slip, which we do, right, we have to pay extra for a dry slip. So in other words, we could stick our boat in the wet slip and just take our trailer home, or take it to some other place,
And you can
and not have a dry slip.
You could, or you could just put, that's your parking spot.
No, we have to pay
No,
extra for the dry slip.
If you pay for the dry slip, you always have a parking spot if you don't have a trailer there.
Right, right. So what I'm saying is, just because you have a wet slip,
Doesn't mean you have. a
you
trailer.
don't have a dry slip for your trailer.
Right,
no, but if you've got a wet slip and you don't live, and you wanna drive down to get onto your boat,
Right.
it seems like there used to be something that they were guaranteed a parking spot,
So
assigned parking spot.
it could be, so
So you may want to investigate that.
in my
Whereas
like
some old
kind
timer.
of monitoring of the marina, because we're really close, what happens as a general rule is if you have a wet slip, people come down in their golf cart,
Well, not
or
everybody
walk.
has a golf
or
cart.
walk.
Yeah.
Either walk or
Yeah.
they come down in their golf cart if they have a wet slip. That's not everybody, but I'd say it's 80%.
There is a regulation about you have to have X number of handicap spots for the number of regular parking spots, and I don't know what that number is, do you guys?
That's what
You got
So,
it.
once we get our data, and if we decide to go,
Yeah,
that's where my, information comes from. We need to know what the, rules are.
yeah,
And what we're allowed to do, what we should be doing, and then just how to implement it. So this is just considerations to think about once we decide to go any further with it.
yeah, okay. Just, you wanna be sure and
Right.
have those numbers.
We have two now,
Right.
for sure, right? But
Good
we
report.
look at that.
I like the sticker idea to find out what is the situation. I think that's a good plan.
By the way, Timmy typed this up,
This is
so
just
I
for
wanna give her,
posterity.
I gotta give her credit for, it would have been handwritten and illegible if Timmy didn't get on a computer, help me out in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this your part, Chip? This-
Yeah, and it's
okay.
just thinking about, if we're gonna implement it, what do we need to consider and what should be in, front of mind, to roll it out. And it's to, make sure that, we're following the RCWs and then, defining it, the policy scope to our residents, and then, spelling out the why, and then thinking about how we can, if we're gonna enforce it, how we can enforce it, and then how are we gonna collect any revenue from it? And there are different methods to do that too.
This is very well thought out.
This is good.
I had help with the computer.
Timmy did yours
Yeah.
too?
But this is down the road, but,
Because once you get the data
you're right.
and we find out.
If we're gonna pull the trigger on it,
We got 50 non-residents hanging out at PM Beach,
right,
then we got some ways to
yeah,
enforce it and charge for them to be there.
and we can dig deeper on all these bullet points here.
No, this is great. This is good. You guys did a good job on this. What do you think, you guys? It's awesome.
Now, you're gonna have, if a household says, well, we've got 3 cars, then we give them 3 stickers?
Well, I think while we're doing the survey,
Well, yeah, no, I
while
get,
we're at the survey time,
Mhm.
right, then I think that's fair, right? If they want, right, if they, all 3 of them wanna drive down separately to go to the marina, then, that's gonna be a small percentage, I would think.
I like the sticker idea instead of cards, because then you can say, oh, hand your cards to friends and
Anybody
whatnot,
and everybody, yeah.
right? And so stickers are nice, it goes in your car, it doesn't come,
So we have stickers in White Rock, right? And they go on your windshield, and, I try to put them on so I could take them off, because we change cars quite a bit, and they don't.
They don't. That's the idea.
Right, so it's a good idea, right? We're like, let's just put this on temporary because we change cars so much. Like, yeah, no, that doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
So
We
it's,
used to do that in college, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, can I use your ID this weekend? Yeah, okay.
So who would do so say the stickers get implemented and the community's using it, who's gonna do the count? Who's gonna keep track of this survey that's gonna check it on weekends or
I think that-
weekdays or?
I think that we have to look at the weekends, the Sunday, Monday, the Saturday, Sunday, and on the long weekends, the Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And I think
Right.
there's someone from the rec staff that's already down there
Uh-huh.
could just make a quick count at, a couple
Every
times,
couple times or,
maybe 3 times a day.
okay,
Right,
They
and
know that
then
count?
we're like, okay, we sit down here in the fall, and we're like, okay, 80% of the people are Sun Valley residents, 70% of the people are Sun Valley residents, 90%, we'll have that number.
You'll have to catch them as they're driving in.
Yeah, so we'll figure all that out, we'll figure those logistics out.
yeah, and PM, AM Beach, I mean, there's a rec person here that would probably have to migrate down there
Sure.
to check.
Yeah.
Cause you need good statistics
We need
to
good
back this
info.
up
Right,
if you're gonna implement, charging for non-residents.
Right.
It's gotta be concrete.
well, because if it's like a 60-40, 60 Sun Valley and 40 non-residents,
Yeah.
then we have an issue and we have
Yeah.
to charge for parking. If it's 90-10, it's like, well, what do we do, right? Do we really do this for 10%?
Well, I like what you suggested, let's get some hard numbers.
Let's get some hard numbers.
Yeah, and
See what
get
it
good,
is.
good data. That's great, good job.
How would you have any recourse if somebody just pulled in, parks?
Tell
Isn't,
We have security.
Right, so at this point in time, we're not into that.
Yeah.
We're surveying now, right?
us will
And then the
tow a
next
car.
step is,
If
this summer is
Yeah.
surveying, the next step is, okay, do we have a problem? And is the problem not enough parking, or is the problem non-Sudden Valley residents?
Oh,
We gotta move this along, or we're gonna be here for hours.
You wanna park it here?
Oh, my
Oh, that's good, Jack. All right, thank you, gentlemen, appreciate that.
Good
Thank
report,
you.
lot of
Good
work.
report. Let's move on, we got solar power plant on the airstrip. Mitch and Rick. Rick, Rick's on board, Mitch is on board, there you go, it looks like you passed out a report.
Rick and I did a walk. You want, right? We walked it. We've got an airstrip.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
So the question really is, could this project positively benefit Sudden Valley financially at minimal risk? And that's probably the bar, because it's a bigger project. So, you know, is it worth it? So the assumption is that we would use the inactive airstrip and we would look for two sources of revenue. One source being solar power and the other one being parking underneath the solar panels, as they do now standardly in shopping malls and schools. They mount the panels really high up and you park underneath it. We'd have more boat storage, and so we could get revenue in two locations. Now, could we make money selling electricity? That's the first question. And no, I find out that they will not pay us cash. You can generate power and put it in the grid, but it's just going to be an offset to the power that you use. And so I don't know what our electrical bill is for the association, but it's the offset. You'll still have to pay your basic connection fee, and that's also a pretty pricey item. And so it's metering credits, and they're changing it in November. So it's not a static thing, and they play games with it. I say games, you know, they manipulate numbers. They're not into the business of paying other people to have, generate power. They just like it. So I think that the cost to install, cost to maintain, basic monthly charge, our usage and potential power generation, we'd have to get a lot of information to know if this would make us any cash. I don't think we could calculate that, but there is a second option, which I found, and that's better. PSE has a out and out aggressive plan where they look for communities to host energy projects, and they lease the land from you.
Oh, like that.
There you go.
I like that.
So, that looked really good.
Yeah,
Now,
I like
it
that.
gets a little better because they do the soliciting of general interest, and if they like it, they pay for the installation, the maintenance, the upkeep. They operate the whole thing, they just pay you to lease it. So could we make money on that? Possibly so. So there's no upfront investment or maintenance required. Now, could we negotiate with them to say, we want the collectors high up so we can park underneath? It's a negotiation. And we don't know. Are we eligible? From the criteria on their page, everything about that airstrip meets the criteria for them to say that suits us. We own the land, it's in perpetuity, it would have sun, they would have to take a lot of alders down, but I don't think anyone cares about taking alders down. So I think it works. So they want something with 20,000 square feet. We've got more than 10 times that. So we don't have a problem on that. They want 24/7, 365 access. We don't care. You're maintaining it, you're paying us for lease. So how does it work? Well, we apply, they review the application, and if selected, they partner with us to design, install, and launch the project. They handle the funding, the logistics, the permitting, the development, all of it. It's their project.
Nice.
All right, and we just get the lease payment. Oh, I like lease payments, just steady monthly payments, all right? So if we could get into an energy project with Puget Sound Energy, and we can come to terms with, even if we don't get into terms with leasing, going underneath, parking underneath, well, we have, that land is static, why not? There's a lease option, so there's a revenue option there, and if we can get the collectors installed high, we have more options. Now, that's one side of the story. The other side of the story is they're going through, our county is going through the EIS, EIR review right now. So every 5 years, environmental impact statement and report. So they're doing the review. And I found out that they're now promulgating new regulations. They have a consultant that is writing new regulations for solar systems and solar projects, which they have not had promulgated rules for. So I responded to the EIS, EIR and said, listen, at one time we wanted to do this, the county was excited, we might be interested in doing that, but if you're rewriting the EIS, EIR, and this is in the watershed, I think that you should allow a little more latitude for projects that have no environmental impact to be allowed to be constructed in the watershed, that especially our green projects, and this would work, and we would like to have input on it, and I sent it to the head of planning who's doing the collection of comments, and I know it was received because I've now talked to planning several times.
Oh, right.
And they've looked at the
Nice.
comments,
Whoa.
and they're up to, okay, we're willing to have a conversation about this.
Whoa.
So, okay, cool. So now the question would be, should we go to the board and say, should we submit an application online to Puget Sound Energy to ask them, would you consider this plot of land for a solar project? That's it.
Oh,
Anything else, Rick?
No, I think that's right. I think I don't see any obstacle of why we wouldn't move ahead and ask, you know, ask PSC to see if it's a suitable site. And I think there may be parking vehicles or boats might be an issue with the EIS, EIR, but certainly the solar should be a slam dunk, I would think.
They're willing to entertain. I've talked to county planning now, I think 3 times. And, you know, they were even saying, look, you want to have a preliminary review? And I went, no, I'm just a volunteer on a subcommittee. So, no.
They sound a little eager.
Yeah, but they're open. So I think that in your monthly report, ask for permission for us to be able to work with Michael and give Michael the information, and let's make a submittal and find out if they're
we
interested.
qualify, yeah.
There's no cost,
Nothing to lose,
nothing to lose,
nothing to lose.
no risk.
Yeah.
No, that's great
The
research.
light, I really like the lease part. I've got solar panels and it started out, they were giving you, you know, money for what you produced, and now it's just, you get
Credit offsets.
credit offsets, and it has to be for that month, and you can't carry over, and, yeah, so it helps,
Like I said, there's a
but
game,
it's not as profitable as it originally was supposed to be.
but the lease,
Lease.
Any guess what the lease could be?
hate to speculate on something that could be known for certain. It's one of my hard rules.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Mitch.
Rick and I put it
You
together.
guys did a good job on that.
Another thing, just while we're talking about solar panels, and some of you may have seen this, right? But it's also good not to take the risk, right? Let Puget Sound Energy take the risk. Because acres and acres were destroyed by hail. Okay, in some areas.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
you get a hailstorm and you have solar power, it's totally useless.
Hail.
And then guess what you have, is you have caustic solar panels.
Yes.
That take 300 years to take care of.
You got one in there.
Sound energy, knock yourself out, take
You
the
can get
risk.
one to Tiny Hills.
So let somebody else take the risk.
Of course, you should just get lease money.
Any more questions for these gentlemen?
Yes, I have one.
Okay.
So do you see any opposition to utilizing that area as far as the residents are concerned?
Gary, this is
Uh,
Sutton Valley,
I know.
all right?
No doubt. But I mean, I'm trying to figure out how much opposition would there be?
I don't know. I mean, it depends, you know, is it gonna be a gated thing? Is it gonna be open? Will these people still be able to walk their dogs through there? I don't know.
There's a road that goes through.
Yeah,
Yeah, it goes to the Alder property,
Okay, is that just one resident or,
yes.
okay, so we just have to pacify them and,
They have a access road,
yeah. So that would be the only possible,
yeah. So yeah, Gary, I'm sure that
Well-
we'll bump into someone's aura.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sun Valley don't even know
I,
it's there.
I think though, it can be designed, it's gonna need to be secure to some extent, have some sort of fence around it, right? Especially for parking vehicles or boats.
Kids that
But-
climb on it.
But I think we can have a walkway along the outside of it, because people do use that stretch to walk their dogs. Or
As we
or just
did.
go for a walk, yeah.
Mhm.
So what you might have to incorporate that into the design.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bread delivery.
Oh, wow.
This is Ariel Salaji. She happens to make outstanding
Bread.
bread.
Oh, it's I made those too. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, there you
I
go.
gotta pay off my bread.
I don't mean to
Okay.
interrupt at all.
Excuse me.
The bread commercial there.
Hey,
Okay.
it's outstanding sourdough bread. Bread with bread.
There you go. Okay, so we'll wrap on that then? That's good. Okay, well,
Sourdough though, I don't.
Elizabeth and myself, we were challenged with, one of Elizabeth's ideas that there's a lot of people that live in Sudden Valley and they age and, you know, they possibly lose their mate and they're in a big house and they can't keep up their big house and they need someplace to go. And right now, just in my neighborhood, there's two that their houses are for sale. They've lost their mates and the house is huge and they've got no place to stay in Sudden Valley. So Elizabeth came up with a great idea, probably the first time that I almost met her. She says, you know, I'm worried about all my friends that are all leaving. And we need an assisted living place for Sudden Valley. And then Elizabeth even proved it even farther. She went and hung out in the place for 2 months and said, they're terrible, we really need a really good one. So she is just totally all about this. And I agree with her. I see the need all over the place and I'm losing my neighbors. So we got the tip
You're not
from.
losing all your neighbors.
I did lose a neighbor. I did. I gotta replace them with young, but that what's happening? Good. Yeah, you're still hanging around. That's good. So we got this tip from Mitch, and he said, hey, there's 40 acres out there that,
I got my lots confused.
Yeah, it's
It was
all right. It's
area,
division
it was the campground that's 40 acres.
yeah, it was, well, anyway, we went through a process here, and we thought we had the right, 14.2 acres, but it was the wrong 14.2 acres, which was slated for, common, and we couldn't do a whole lot with that. So Elizabeth and I was like, well, let's have a cup of coffee and, breakfast, and I guess we don't get to do a whole lot. But then, Mitch has good ideas, and he told me that, why don't you go talk to Joel? Joel knows more about these parcels than anybody else. And Joel called me about 8 o'clock at night, and I go, wow, okay, you're working late, but he works late. And I told him that there's gotta be this. Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it's 32932. And I go, wow. He goes, well, let me pop it up. So he pulls up the parcel, and you'll see attached here is the parcel he's talking about.
Perfect.
32932, that's 14.88, almost 15 acres.
Right.
And there's a little bit of a slope to it. I did go there today. But there's houses on the top up there, you can see. And this is slated for what they call 30, You see it,
It can be,
ULID, utility local,
it can be developed.
yes.
And we have been paying $1,400 a year in taxes on it since 1972.
After 2006.
2006?
Yeah, we purchased it in 2006 from some Canadian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're paying money on this, and so anyway, as soon as I found that out, I called Elizabeth, and I called a commercial developer in Bellingham, he's a pretty recognized guy, and I told him my situation, and he goes, he's taking notes, he's writing all this down, and I also sent him a copy of this, and he says, I understand it completely. I says, I just want to be clear, so we want to own the land, keep the land, we'd like a developer to come in that develops assisted living facilities for people that run that, are in the business, the big people. I get it completely, so get somebody to run it, they continue running it, and then we lease the land to them for a long-term lease, 10, 20-year deal. Or is it possible if they have a percentage of revenue from the facility that would go to Sudden Valley? Either way, we'd be open for either way. I don't think we'd be too fussy, because right now, we're just paying out money. So this, he's pursuing this. He says he's gonna get back to me Monday with what, if this is a possibility.
This is cool.
It would be really cool if something like this could happen. It would really increase the revenue again in another area that was unexpected for all of us. And we're trying to make more revenue so we can all keep our costs down. That's the whole plan.
And where it's located would be very appealing because people could just walk over to the market, Tino's, so it would be a desirable area, and the bus stop is right across the street, I think.
Close.
Yeah, so, it would be pretty desirable. And it's not a medical facility, it's a assisted living, so.
Not a future home for me. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're gonna have to stay on your toes, at least. And, I think all of us have seen sometimes a couple, one of the partners gets to the point where they need care. And the other one doesn't. And sometimes they have to go away from Sudden Valley just so they can be close to the partner that's in the facility.
And think about it though, we also have a lot of people, younger people that are moving here that might want their parents right near them in a facility.
I remember when you had your mother here.
My mother is in a facility in Bellingham, my stepmother is.
Yeah, so you have to drive
I
down
have to
to see her.
drive, let me tell you, it's pretty pricey,
Oh, yeah,
all right?
they're very
Those are
profitable.
not cash poor businesses.
No,
I don't think you can be in one for under 4,000 a month.
I'd like to know what that place looks like, because at 4,000 a month, I don't think you're getting the janitor's closet.
It's pretty sad at 4,000.
Right.
I think I'm going to Hawaii because I know I can stay there for 4,000 a month and get all the food, all inclusive. Not Hawaii, sorry, Mexico. Mexico.
I was gonna say, have you been to
I
Hawaii?
said island in Hawaii. Hawaii
Nobody
came
knows
out and I meant Mexico. You go to Mexico and you go up to the hotel and say, here's $4,000 a month. I want
Yeah.
to stay here. And they're like,
Oh, it's gonna be
no
a
problem.
resort.
So
Next thing you know, you're getting an auto, 4,000 a month, but no one's seen you for 7 years.
so we're gonna get more information from this commercial developer, and if we don't like what he talks about, then we'll go talk to another one. And if we get shut down twice, then, we've exhausted what is available possibly. But we definitely gonna try harder, aren't we, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
what concerns me is 40 units and maybe less. most of the ones that are going up these days seem to be huge places.
Yeah.
So it may not be, we may not be able to do something big enough to attract somebody, but how many are in your mother's place? You know?
I have no idea, but you know, if it doesn't work for, an assisted living, would it work for a condo association?
Well, probably,
Well, if it doesn't work for one, it could work for the other. A
Yeah.
condo association is just like the same thing as a lease. We're just gonna get, you know, X number of people who are gonna pay the association X dollars a month.
Yeah, so we do get revenue.
So where did the 40 unit number come?
It came from me, myself. I was online and trying to figure out, what the sizes and quantities were for units, and they had 120, they had 80, and they had 40. And then you can get, you know, assisted living as small as 2
Right.
in a residential.
So it could be bigger, we got 14 acres, 15 acres.
Yeah, it's almost 15 acres, and I
Yeah,
thought,
but it's watershed, so 35% of the land can, you know, be, you know,
Built on.
you're gonna have to build up. Cause you can only cover 35% of the land.
But still, 35% on 14 acres.
And so maybe you can have a 3-story type,
yeah.
you know, structure.
And also I mean, I was doing this, I was like, might as well figure it out, so they had a couple scenarios, they had, okay, how to invest in assisted living, can you do it? It's with their numbers, and these were like 2024, they said $4 million for a 40 unit, and then they also had the profit margin, and then somebody would have to have at least, I think it was 1.8 million just to even think about doing it. And then their revenue on the monthly is enormous return on this if you were, somebody's to invest and do this.
They are cash intense
Some of the
businesses.
cash cow,
Yes, they are.
unbelievable. But anyway,
Okay, so we're gonna be doing a GoFundMe page.
3,000, so $3,000 a month times 40 units is $120,000 a month.
yeah, that's right, that was the number. They had 120,000 a
I'll
month.
put up a third of the 1.8.
Times 12.
Times upwards.
12, 1.4 million a year.
Okay, well, there's more to come on that. I think we'll have more by our next meeting.
Let's hear about coffee.
This would be an enormous project, and would take probably several years to even.
But not our risk,
True,
No, this is
no
Well,
risk,
And no expenditure,
no money,
right,
No
no
expenditure.
expenditure,
no.
no risk.
someone comes in, we get rent.
the main problem might be if somebody came in, got started, and then they backed out in the middle because they went bust.
Well, all right, so it's a business, contracting issue upfront, that's your risk.
Okay, yeah,
Right. But there
Sounds
are
like a
big
plan.
businesses in this, there are big corporations in this business.
yes.
Multi-million-dollar.
And
companies.
this is a
They're
growing
ready to
field.
invest 10 million,
I mean,
you know,
you know.
and go.
Aging is a growing business.
Okay.
And there's lots of large hedge funds that have invested in this area very, very heavily.
Yes.
That is big money.
Yeah.
Big money.
All right.
Okay, done with that. So,
Coffee.
coffee, again, April and Elizabeth,
Oh,
they
I
came
didn't
together on
pass it.
this.
what did I do with this? Okay. Just pass next.
Okay.
Nice paper, good stuff.
This
Yeah.
yours?
This
Oh,
is
that was my
flimsy
notes.
paper.
That's your notes? Okay.
So I buy decent paper.
It's very good quality paper.
Well, yeah,
That
if
was
you
my
have
point.
cheap paper,
I think she needs her
my
back.
printer made,
You need one of yours back?
whatever, just, I just didn't know how many people would be here, so. Yeah, the cheap paper gums up the printer. So. Basically, we're looking at, can we add another thing? And we talked about vending machines, food trucks or modules, somebody can buy land and build a restaurant. And what seemed to appeal to our subcommittee, or whatever you wanna call it, was we've got the old offices for the association sitting over there empty. And although it couldn't be turned into a total big restaurant, it could be, as I say, a coffee house, bakery, ice cream parlor, something like that. And you wanna take it from there?
Yeah, so we sort of examined, we went on a little road trip and just seeing like what the possibilities were. And we thought about drive-through, we thought about a bunch of different things. But yeah, the administrative office was appealing because the inside, there's some walls that could be knocked down. So it has beautiful windows, I think it'd be a great coffee shop to serve breakfast items, which I think the golfers would love to have some breakfast sandwiches, croissants, coffee. I mean, I know myself personally, I go into Bellingham all the time just for good coffee. So I think it could be something I think the community would enjoy. And all ages, if you do ice cream.
And one of the advantages of the association office there is kids can walk over from, or adults too, could walk over from the recreation, area, the barns. Just walk and you can do all of it without getting on the golf course, so it would be safe. And go over and get ice cream or whatever.
And there's parking down below where the golfers.
Yeah, And,
So what are you gonna do? How are you gonna find out if it's feasible?
the next step, I think, is obviously, we would have to get permission from the board, I guess.
No, I think bring a good proposal to us. I
Yeah,
think
and
we
then
can
good
bring it to the board.
proposals.
Well, you guys already talked to a builder to say, well, is this possible over here? Why not talk to a commercial real estate agent and say, hey, this space over here, do you think an ice cream shop would work?
Well, we brought in a restaurateur, a man who has run restaurants, and we met, it was so nice, we met at a little place downtown called Rome that was a coffee pastry place. And,
You guys went to Rome as a subcommittee, I like this. I like this.
Well,
I wanna go to Rome on this subcommittee too.
Not that Rome, R-O-M.
Don't ruin my delusions.
Oh, okay.
He's going
And, we were looking the size, and, one of the concerns was, as I said, you can't have a full kitchen in there. But this little place was running everything fine, and basically they had a sink and coffee makers.
Probably an air fryer and some sort of heating
don't
unit in the back
Oh,
to heat
okay.
the croissants and the sandwiches, but.
Yeah, I didn't have any of
Yeah.
I went straight to the chocolate croissants, so.
Yeah.
I know
Good
what I
stuff.
like.
Good move.
And so that's really looks not only like a good thing, but it could be a fast thing, unlike, the assisted living, which will take several years probably.
One of the things that would be interesting, because we're in Bellingham, and we have a major coffee entrepreneur in Bellingham called
Yeah.
Woods Coffee,
Oh, yeah.
right? They have multiple locations. The owner is in this area,
The
right?
CFO lives here.
The CFO lives here.
I didn't know that.
And so I would think that someone should meet with him and say, hey, what about a coffee shop in Sun Valley? Because they do all the studies, they do the demographics, they know where to set up, blah, 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 right? And that would be the person to say, you know what, it's not gonna work No one's ever gonna make any money in Sun Valley selling coffee, blah, 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 or, hey, that's a great idea. I think they would know within 10 minutes of meeting with them, whether it's a good idea or not. What we don't want is to start something and all of us say, hey, this is a great idea, and then have an entrepreneur fail.
Yeah,
That doesn't work, right?
every
But-
coffee shop in this building has failed.
Right, right, so that's the background. So we go to Woods Coffee, somebody meets with the CFO and says, hey, Sun Valley, 7,100 residences, 1,500 adults that, leave here every day, what does this meet your demographics, yes or no? Is it feasible?
I gotta tell you, I think that for a Woods Coffee, it's the security building. It's right off the, Lake Whatcom Boulevard. It has a turnaround in it. It has a service window in it.
Okay, yeah, you're talking about a drive-through type of thing there, and we weren't.
I
That's what
understand.
people want, right? People want to drive.
I think they want to drive through. I mean, you want to go and sit down and get ice cream served.
Some people want that too.
They're different
Right,
venues.
but there is that. But to go to a Woods Coffee CFO and say, will this work? Number one, he has all the contacts, right? He buys his coffee 10 times cheaper than anybody else. And he buys all his donuts, whatever else he sells, right, at wholesale price. Say, would something like this work in Sun Valley? Would you be interested?
So, the theme here, and you're espousing it again, from all of our proposals are, let's find someone else to take the risk, right? We want revenue, we don't want risk. And Woods Coffee, you know what you're doing.
Right.
We have property that you would be able to do business in, we just want revenue, no risk.
Well, we want the amenities too.
Well, we get that,
Right.
but financially,
Right,
we don't want risk.
no risk,
We would like revenue.
right.
Well, I think it's not, yeah, we don't want the risk, but also to try to run any of these things ourselves,
No,
we would have to add personnel to the association.
we're not in that business.
And we're not in that business, we don't know what the heck we would be doing, and there's no way we're gonna be able to hire people who will change a little old lady's diapers.
Right, but what we also don't
Don't
want to
give me
do
these visuals, okay?
is we don't want to go to somebody and say, hey, we got this great idea, we want you to start a coffee shop here.
Yeah.
And your rent's $2,000 a month, they go, hey, I love this idea, I can make like 10 grand a month. It's like, let's go to the people that are professionals
They know what they're
Yeah.
doing.
They know what
and
they're
let's
doing.
talk to them.
Yeah,
So
that's
someone should meet with them.
Here are the two ladies that have the subcommittee.
Yep, so you guys wanna go pursue that and come back with a proposal? Next time?
We can do a little reaching
More
out,
homework.
yeah.
Do you know the
Reach out
name of the
someone.
CFO of Woods?
I'll dig up his phone number.
So you can get it from
They,
Mitch.
they can, they can,
Oh.
he lives here,
Yeah, Gate one.
gate one,
Mhm.
perfect. All right,
He
just
just got
gotta
his
pursue
findings.
that.
Nice job.
Okay, that's a good deal. Okay, and now, then our next item here is community feedback, and this is, we're gonna get, we went from our emails, Rick gets them, or I get them. And Rick, did you get any feedback this month? On email?
No, so, no, I, not directly related to these. If possible, can you collect a copy of the handouts for me, Ray? So I can incorporate those into the minutes?
Yeah, I can do that. I got a file for you.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and then I want you guys to be excited here for a half a minute. And probably one of the reasons you came here is to learn about Bond 6. I want you to stay for this. I just picked up their working blueprints of Barn 6. Mitch has looked at them and Keith has looked at them. We've had a few people, Rick's looked at them. We're still drawing lines and moving stuff and moving walls and doors and stuff. But this is like the third time around. So we need to clear this in a little bit and clear that in a little bit. I have 2 sets of prints. And we can get to look at them and get a little bit of feedback on them. From this stage, we'll meet with the architect, try to get Mitch involved too, one more time,
Are we gonna drive there tomorrow?
I don't think it's gonna happen tomorrow.
Okay, fine. Tomorrow I got a couple things going on, that'd be good.
I think he's gonna take it to the feasibility study and put dollar amounts in. So we'll know what we can actually do.
You're gonna like this. You're gonna like it.
I have nothing to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spencer and I tested them.
It's just interesting to draw plans when you don't know what you're gonna include. What would be wise to
Oh, that's
You
pretty.
didn't know I had his name on
Yeah.
That's not our building.
That's not our building?
No.
Oh. Actually, it looks like a firehouse, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's not our building.
I'm gonna put him here.
Yeah, I don't know what you wanna do with this. That's a good idea.
What's that?
That's an example of what
Or render.
a rendering.
I like the fact that they used some natural wood and some rock and natural elements in it. Yeah.
That looks awesome.
So what, Rick, you've seen this. Sorry, Gary, you haven't seen this. I don't got anything to send you. I just picked these up. But pretty much, you guys can stand up or look at this, the only way you're gonna see it, but it's this pretty much what we all figured out what we were kind of needing. And this is like the first floor, and they put in, the multi-purpose rec area, which includes so far, volleyball, basketball, badminton, indoor soccer, cornhole,
Anything you want in the gym.
pickleball. It's got about everything you possibly can think of. And with that, we've got a giant storage room. Down here, it's called equipment checkout. We've got a window that can check equipment out. We've got a manager office next door. And there's also a meeting room down here. And then we have bathrooms. We've got a shower in the family. We're trying to get some more showers. That was an oversight. And then we have a prep kitchen. This is not a kitchen with a grill. It's just to heat stuff up, and it's got dishwashers so we can sanitize the dishes. And it's also got a serving window, so we can serve right out to whatever's going on this multi-purpose area. Got a meeting room, got maintenance storage, and
There's
a meeting
two
room.
meeting rooms downstairs then.
2 meeting rooms, yes.
Okay.
Okay?
Before you flip, Gene, hold on, Gene, before you flip, it also has roll-up doors on the east side. You'll see dotted lines, 3 roll-up doors, and on the north side, you'll see 2 other dash lines. These are also roll-up doors. All right,
Oh, so open area.
open
Open
area.
area.
And open to that
Open
grassy
area.
area.
Open air area,
This
which
is
is
parking lot
important,
access.
right? Because
That's
people
right.
ask for that.
Oh, they're gonna put parking there?
Well, there's parking there now.
Okay.
I like that
But
idea.
if we wanted to have
Yeah.
All right,
This is,
farmer's market or
this
something.
was pretty much the same design that we did first time around.
oh, that's,
The rendering.
They're not our
The
building.
rendering
that's
doesn't.
not it.
No.
Okay, I'm concerned, there's only one staircase. Oh, there's one, okay, got
And
it.
an elevator.
And elevator.
Yeah, I know you had an
Okay.
elevator.
Yeah, from a life safety point of view, we checked it out.
Do you think they'll require us to have a staircase on the other end?
Wait till you see the second story.
Oh,
you'll see
okay,
it.
that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go to round 2.
You can go to the second floor.
All right, now, second floor, what you're looking at is
Very
only about 30% of the space is second floor. All right, so 2 meeting room, senior center, adult center.
Adult center, not
Adult
senior,
center,
they don't
that's
like
right,
senior.
adult center, another meeting room. All right, a storage room, which you're going to need for chairs and tables, because this is 2,000 square feet of open.
Big, it's huge.
All right, a very large balcony that that we feel can be extended. All right, with another roll-up door.
A wall glass roll-up door. This opens up and walk right out, you put 49 people on the deck.
Wow, like a garage door type thing?
Yep.
Yeah, like.
Glass.
Yeah,
And there's also a single door also if it's
Yeah.
raining.
right.
Kitchen, serving window, all right? Imagine, this is a $10,000 a day wedding venue if we want. Bathrooms, a family bathroom, men's and women's, and equipment room, and elevator. first
Do we have a
floor.
staircase off the deck or not
We
needed?
talked about it, but we
Yeah,
don't
We
need it.
did, but he didn't like that idea. The architect-
Well, you know, we could always throw one up later on,
Yeah.
if we wanted to.
So what you're looking at on this wall here are windows. So this is open, it's a wall all the way up, but it's got windows looking down to the sports court. All right, you got comments here? What are they?
Why is the senior center so far away from the elevator? Why is the ADA bathroom so far away from the senior center?
We have all of the
Flippy.
bathrooms lined up for plumbing and electricity coming up this one wall.
Yeah, which means that it would be more practical for the senior center if this was flipped.
Not necessarily, because we're also looking at this being an open area for gathering.
No, I'm talking about this.
All right.
Switch the adult center with the meeting room.
Yep,
I don't think it's a bad idea.
make it
All
closer.
right, there
I
you go.
don't think it's,
For
And
those who
I
are,
think it's a
have
good idea.
difficulty moving.
let's get some kind of opening between the two.
Why?
boy,
Did you do one of those petitions?
we did have this as a door that could be open or
It's
closed.
not the worst
That's
idea,
what it
because
is,
if
yeah.
you needed a bigger meeting room, right?
Petition.
You're gonna do a
Yeah.
sliding wall, that's not the
Well,
worst
and,
idea.
Actually, that's what it is.
Because you, if all of a sudden somebody wanted to rent those,
You know, if the bridge
Right.
groups wants to be there, that would be close. I'm a little disappointed that it's a ways from the kitchen, but that's okay.
Well, this is also
right,
an adult area, we call it a meeting hall, but this is where we have the chairs and the card tables and all that stuff. And to use this kitchen,
Yeah, right, yeah.
no, this is
Yeah,
also
I know.
part of,
but in order
You could have
to,
used
to
this.
have this potentially being the whole size, it's not the worst idea.
no, that's
Right?
actually the way
You know what I
it is.
mean? Like, if all of a sudden somebody says, look, I wish I could rent a spot, but I need it bigger,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Can we get
They do that in
a,
hotels all the time.
Yeah, they do in hotels all
Yeah.
okay,
That's what that is.
we
right
wanna
now.
get a little, I wouldn't call it a counter where you can have,
We're not doing furniture, fixtures, or anything
No,
right now.
okay.
This is
Can we
square
get
footage only.
some water.
That can be
A
done
little
later,
sink.
all that can be done later.
All right, so in the adult room, can we have a water
So we
line?
could do coffee.
Well, then you're probably a little sink area too.
Well, yeah, that would be nice, because the water has to go somewhere.
There's the water, where the water source is way over here.
Yeah, that's
That's a whole,
concern.
but you've got
Was
this
there a
area for
reason?
coffee.
Was there a reason why you picked a NCAA pro size court?
Everybody,
We felt that it would be the right thing to do.
A good size.
It's the most
yeah.
flexible, and we can do everything on it. We can divide it in half. You can play half court.
Oh, yeah, you can do the same thing with the high school size,
Understood?
but.
Well, we have the square footage for it, right? Because we have the
Yeah.
building footprint is there,
yeah, we
Right.
have. We have
so we might as well utilize
So the
it.
floor, why don't you talk about the floor that you're looking at? The floor, we're not going for hardwood, so it's gonna be a modular floor. You can change it around. You can
Okay,
stripe it, you can
This
paint it.
is, this is open, right?
Have you ever had to deal with one of
Yeah,
those
from here
floors?
down.
Yes.
Okay,
They're
so,
a nightmare to move.
yeah, that'll make the building nice and airy.
I do it at Western a lot.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's a nightmare to move.
I wish the adult center was over here, next to the kitchen, but I understand why you wanted more room there, so.
We had this, it was just this, and we got more, but now we're moving it closer to the bathroom. That, if that's a consensus,
We need to have a large, look, that's probably gonna be the new dance barn area, so we need it. This is probably gonna get destroyed.
Probably, yeah.
all right? We'll save millions of dollars not doing the
yeah.
retrofit up on the second floor. So we need that open area. We're trying to look at different ways to not make the whole second
Okay,
floor.
where's the balcony?
Right here.
Okay, it's just that. Okay.
This is the door to the balcony, and this is the sliding, this is a roll-up door.
These, and these can be very interchangeable, they're just two open spots.
Which way is
As
the
time
lake?
moves forward, right, you
The
can,
lake is this way.
The lake is that way over
Sure,
there.
So
Yeah.
this has a view.
Yeah, yeah.
But this could be your, your card tables and all that stuff, you can hang out here all day long.
Well,
Unless it's rented
how
out.
many time,
yeah.
That was the plan.
how many?
Yeah,
But it's not secure.
Sorry, I blocked your way.
It's not secure. Now, we could put a cipher lock on the adult
yeah.
or the senior
gotta be
room or
two.
adult room, so the seniors that wanna use it have the code to it, but that's open.
Yeah, and that's okay.
All right.
It's just,
Let's go
it's
to
a
the
place that they can have
They can
food
hang.
and stuff all the time, and people
And
can
this is
wander
really
in
what
and
you're
out
looking
anytime
at,
they want to.
on the outside, these are kinda like, dormers, but they're kinda fake, they just make it look more
I like
barn-like.
it. Well, they're not letting in air at all, or air
Oh,
and light?
Actually,
They're
when
not
we
gonna
go to
let
the
in light?
when we go to the architect, I don't understand why we would not have those as real windows.
Right, you gotta let light in there,
Yeah.
Could do that.
yeah, you
They're
gotta
not
let.
showing on the plan
This
view.
is a
Yeah,
different building.
they
This
should
is
be-
not-
Yeah, I like
Let
this,
light
the
in.
wood,
They should be real.
the stone stuff, I wonder
Yeah.
how much that would cost to do a little bit of that.
Yeah, this is all metal, this is metal bar,
Is it, okay?
yeah. This is.
Can we
this is
put
kind of
solar
a-
panels on top
This
of
is,
this?
this is the
Don't
skin
start
that you're gonna
with
see. This is what you're gonna see from the south end,
I like that, looks good.
Which way is south? That
or
one?
no, north end,
That's
excuse me.
north. That's the north
So
end.
here's your balcony,
Yeah, okay.
That's facing the
Mhm.
lake.
and then you got roll up door.
Roll
And the
up door.
windows, and then you got double door entry. These are not, these are gone.
They're in the wrong location.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The right number, wrong location.
This is gonna be wood construction and not metal.
This whole paper is the footprint.
Yeah. So there we go.
That's
These
just
will
the
be,
first floor.
these will be wood, not fluolan, but put together 2x8s. And these will be painted frames. That's what they're gonna price out. And then we'll see, we'll go from there, as we have to cut it in half or whatever.
Makes
Who knows?
And
So,
the reason why I have it
is this
here
yours?
is because parking is here.
I don't know whose this is, so I'm gonna put the
They
lid
do.
on.
For those who have mobility.
All right, where are we at?
So we have no kind
It's
of
around-
gym in this
Let's have one meeting.
weight
have-
room or
Let's have
something.
one meeting. All right, we got 2 meetings going on. You have some comments. I
Oh.
think you should share your comments with everyone.
Oh, I was just, looking at the plans and wondering why we have so many smaller, meeting rooms. But, and I also, in my head, I had the senior center all on the bottom floor, facing kind of the parking lot
Okay.
for mobility issues as well as, basically giving that whole line, as the senior, access.
See what
That's
it
also
says.
where the prep kitchen would be, it's where the quiet room that, a lot of seniors have asked for, like the library kind of thing. Like we used to use this area right out here for, the needlepoint folks, reading, small chats, whatever. They also asked for, like a yoga room and, also have a bar in there so that, they could do their very senior focused, exercise and stretching, balance and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But I had it on the ground floor, because it would be very ADA accessible.
So we have ADA with the elevator going up, and we
Right.
put it upstairs because of all the sports court noise will definitely impact the seniors. But upstairs, they will be away from the noise.
Actually, in my experience, it wouldn't interfere with the seniors because the seniors do their stuff in the daytime,
Okay,
in mornings, and early afternoons. And the sports things would happen in the later afternoons and the evenings.
okay, interesting,
That's just the demographic that it would serve.
okay.
If you also put in a smaller court, so it was like a high school size court, you're only going down 6 feet, but it allows you to have the storage and the mechanicals at either end, so that you can have both sides as, having the stuff as well as the stuff that you put on top.
One of the community, a bad quality community survey, but it certainly came up and said, we would like a lot of open air space. And so hence the roll-up doors. So we can, it's year round. It's raining, close them. It's nice weather, open them. So we have them on two sides. Now, if we put rooms on both sides, all right, and we wouldn't be able to have, we would have space on only one side for roll-up doors. So.
The other thing that I was thinking of is on the second floor.
Yeah,
Would be an opportune time because of our weather, and it is shifting dramatically, that we have, it goes all the way around, a walking, jogging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Path.
It'd be great, those are good ideas, we've gone through some of those, exactly those same things, and
Yeah.
with the basketball floor, they're just, the height and everything, it wasn't even feasible, it was getting out of there. We've cut this down to a mezzanine at this, and we might have to cut this back more. This is a starting point, appreciate your input, we're gonna put this meeting at adjournment real soon, unless we got some closing
I've got a couple
questions.
questions. The flooring of the basketball court, we get somebody who wants to have a big wedding in there. Can they throw chairs and tables and
You can
stuff
dri-
in there and we won't ruin the floor?
Can drive a
I
truck on
remember
it.
high school, they were so fussy about the
Yeah, you
floors.
can drive a truck on it.
One of the reasons we wanted several meeting rooms of a decent size, you can make money on bringing a speaker in and having, paid seminars and that sort of thing, which we don't have now. That little room over by the library, the most people I ever got in there was 35 people. And it's not hardly worth having a paid speaker for that size group. But if we can get, some larger areas like that, we can pump out different things over the year and make money on it.
talking about corporate events, tie it to golf, where they can, look, you come here, you got the big meeting room, then you have multiple small meeting rooms, you can have golf for your people, here's the size package. On a wedding venue for this, the number was 10,000 a day, and it was.
For the entire building?
No,
Just upstairs.
upstairs only.
See, if you have that upstairs, then there is no way you can use this during a wedding reception.
Why not?
Because the volume will go right into their reception.
So what we need to make sure is that that wall has double insulation and depth. And-
But aren't you talking about having, that open air part as, part of the rental?
I gotta shut this down.
Yeah,
You guys, our next meeting is July 3rd. Are you guys, that's close to July 4th, it's at 6:30. You guys got an issue, let me know, we can reschedule it.
This is full.
And I think that's, we'll add a general discussion to our next meeting. And I think that's, gonna be a wrap.
It just seems eerie that
8:02.
July is so close.
8
Thank
o'clock.
you.
8
Thank
o'clock.
I have one comment,
Yeah,
if,
Gary.
if I can. So are these drawings available that I can see once I get back to Sudden Valley and the artist's rendition of the building? I'd really like to see these
Yeah, it's
before
still
we
at
go
the
too far.
working stage, but yes, you could. They're not,
Okay,
yeah,
do I contact you or who do I contact to look at them?
yeah, me or Mitch.
You know,
Okay,
trust me, I'll drop off a set at Gary's house. He lives around the corner from me. Let him look at it.
Oh, I thought he's not in Sun Valley.
Are you at home, Gary?
no, I'm in Seattle. I have oncologist
Oh, okay.
appointments,
How about if we
so.
talk to the architect and have the architect send you a PDF?
Yeah,
Sure, but I'll be home tomorrow evening, so,
Drop
yeah.
off a set.
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be great.
All right.
I'd really like to look at them, because I do have some questions, but I want to be able to look at them and ask these questions intelligently, so. And not being able to see them, I can't do that, so,
I
Can I
can,
have
yeah,
a
if you're
set?
coming tomorrow, just, let me know.
okay, yep,
Yeah. Sounds good. Meeting
thank
adjourned.
you.
We're adjourned.
oh, Mrs.
It's a
Does
solid-
it have air conditioning?
Yeah, it's gonna have.
Cool. Yeah, it's gonna have to.
Yeah, but it's a solid wall all the way
Oh,
up.
okay.
So, yeah, you.
But
Take your
does
documents
that,
with you, don't leave
does
around.
that,